Thank you all for being here. I'm going to interview Bob about the services that he offers and how it changes his clients' lives. So let me take a second to introduce Mr. Bob Fritz, and I'll start by telling you about his company, Home Instead. Home Instead provides compassionate, personalized in-home care that helps aging adults remain safe, independent, and connected to the life that they love. Their trained care professionals deliver trusted support with daily tasks, companionship, and specialized care, bringing peace of mind to families and enhancing quality of life every step of the way. As the owner of Home Instead in Phoenix and North Phoenix, Bob has dedicated his career to helping Phoenix families provide compassionate, professional care for their aging loved ones in the comfort of their own homes. With years of experience in senior care services, Bob understands the unique challenges that families face when caring for aging parents and provides personalized solutions that prioritize dignity, independence, and quality of life. When families in our community need trusted in-home care services, Bob is our go-to expert. I do know Bob personally and the people who work for him and his wife as well, and they're just awesome people, really focused on providing the best high quality service for their clients. His commitment to excellence and genuine care for seniors makes him the perfect partner for families navigating the complexities of senior care. Bob, did I miss anything in the
Nope,
introduction that you wanted to
that was
add?
beautiful. I couldn't have
Okay.
written it better myself.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to ask you your first question, Bob. Can you tell us about a family or a client of yours whose life has changed because of the services that Home Instead has provided to them?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I just want to first say thank you, Ashley, for creating this opportunity. I think there's a huge challenge that our world is facing right now on trying to take care of our aging parents and aging adults. We spent a lot of time, like I've heard from multiple people about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged today. Um, but we don't always talk about the important things. And this is a major stressor that millions and millions of families are experiencing. So thanks for creating a safe space for the community to engage with each other and other experts to understand what options are available and at least a chance to connect and understand what other people are experiencing. And I know just from somebody that is trying to keep a close eye on their parents personally or anybody that's had children, you don't always know if you're doing a good job, but the fact that you're here or that you're engaging in this type of community setting says that you are doing a great job because you're trying to figure things out. So I just want to applaud everybody that does engage here. So we've helped about 700 families since we started just a little under 6 years ago. I think the probably the way that we help the most is just being able to be like a care manager in the case. So there's obviously the caregiver that is providing the direct care to your mom or your dad or your loved one, but there's a whole management team or a whole administrative team behind you that can help facilitate different appointments, be eyes and ears. I think a lot of times parents can be somewhat guarded with their son or their daughter and not give you the full disclosure on what's going on. Sometimes they can cover for each other in different scenarios. So just being able to have a different perspective allows us to get a 360 view on what's taking place to be able to put the right solutions in place and create the most positive outcomes. Um, there's a few families that stick out in my mind, but this didn't happen overnight to where we got in place. So it just multiple conversations that a family member was having with their mom or dad, just trying to create the awareness that maybe some extra help could be provided. It goes from being being your mom and dad's 24/7 caregiver, like calling them at certain times to make sure that they took their medication, making sure that they ate, are they drinking enough, are they walking around, do they have groceries, did they wash themselves today, are they wearing the same outfit or did they change? So kind of goes from managing all of that to allowing us to do that. So you don't necessarily have to be the bad guy or feel like you're constantly like poking at your mom or dad or making them feel like they're your child. So allowing us to be able to do that for you in a very non-confrontational way and in an unbiased type of way to allow you just to be a son or daughter again has really just given a lot of peace for families and allowed them to get their time back and also know that they have a partner in crime and caring for their mom and dad. So I hope that helps paint a little bit of a picture on what we see time after time.
Yes, it sure does. And Bob, can you tell us about the services that Home Instead offers and for who also?
Yeah, for sure. So, we talk a lot about this internally. We provide care to the aging adult, but we provide relief for the family. So, a lot of the services that we provide, just to rattle off a few, it includes light housekeeping types of services, meal preparation, grocery shopping, running errands, taking to and from doctor's appointments. So many families have to take time off of work to be able to take their mom and dad to different appointments because they're no longer able to drive either from some type of impairment or just from a comfort standpoint. Personal care, so helping mom or dad in the shower and all the way from just being standby assist if there's a bit of a fall risk to somebody that might need to be prompted to do certain things. Maybe there's cognitive impairment. And so just being able to uh, prompt that individual, like, okay, now take this bottle and squeeze it into your hand, lather up your hair, that type of thing. Or okay, now turn off the shower. Just being able to guide them through that. And then somebody that's all the way to a bedbound care. So maybe they're no longer able to stand or ambulate. So we're providing care and comfort in the bed. So being able to provide brief changes and maintain as high of a quality of life as they possibly can as they navigate through their aging journey. So those are a few of the types of services that our team is able to provide.
Awesome. And can you tell us about the work and preparation that's done behind the scenes for your caregivers, care providers, and then
Oh
also
yeah.
how they differ from private care providers?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. So the the caregivers go through a number of different steps before they even come to our classroom style training. So they'll we do a phone screen, we do an in-person interview, they do drug testing, we do criminal background checks that goes back as far back as the government allows us to go back. We make sure that there's no challenges on their criminal background history. We ensure that they're drug tested. And then once we get to a comfort level of okay, we've mitigated our risk here. This is a good fit for our organization. Do would we feel comfortable putting this person in with our own mom or dad, or with another team member's mom or dad? And so once they pass all of those types of tests and types of criteria, they complete a few online modules, but then they come into a classroom style environment. So in our office, we have plenty of space. We train approximately 5 to 8 people every week. They go through a lot of the understanding common ailments that an aging adult may experience. They go through a personal skills training and assessment. So we're going to be able to put them through an assessment so that they understand how to transfer and what that looks like, what that feels like. There's a number of different types of transfers that they'll go through. They go through a personal care module, so understanding how to change a brief, how to ensure somebody is staying clean and dry, how to transfer to a commode. There's a number of different trainings that they go through, and that's just the beginning. So there's like a basic boot camp that they go through in order to prepare them to go out into the field. But then there's additional trainings that we provide to include a dementia and Alzheimer's training that's been approved by the Alzheimer's Association. There's a hospice training. Those are two of the common advanced training that we provide. When it comes to specific ailments or conditions like Parkinson's, there's additional training that we're able to provide those individuals so that we can equip them with all the tools and resources to go out and do a good job for that person and for their family. So those are the types of things that we can do for you. And again, like that's just the beginning. There's a lot of variables that may present themselves when we're in the home, and we always encourage our caregivers and the families, like if there's ever any challenges, uh, reach out to the office. And the great thing about the way that we're structured here at Home Instead is we're probably no more than 20 minutes away at any point in time. So we can respond pretty quickly to anything that might be happening in the home so you don't feel like you're going at it alone.
Amazing. Thank you, Bob. My
Yeah.
next question for you is when you're helping families plan for aging at home, what things should they be thinking about early on?
Have the conversation. I think sometimes people might wait until it's too late. So the sooner you can have the conversations, the better. And what that conversation might look like or sound like is, Mom, Dad, where do you want to live? Like as you get older, do you want to stay here at home? Are you thinking more of a community setting? Am I going to move in with you? Are you going to move in with me? What does that look like? What is your desire? And then how will you know it's time? Like what are those triggers that you want to put in place as soon as possible to help you identify it? Okay, this is happening now. So what what do we need to do? Like when do we need to hit the initiate button to proceed with the plan that we developed at one point in time? And then how am I going to pay for it? So there out of all the scenarios that I provided. So how are you going to be able to pay for going into a group setting? How would you pay for home care? How would we pay for mom or dad or mom and dad to live at our house? Or how are we going to be able to support me living with mom and dad? Because a lot of times that may involve walking or stepping away from your job or your career and helping take care of mom full time. So the financial resources is definitely part of the conversation that comes into play.
Excellent. And not to get too deep into the mud here, but is there any type of insurance that would cover in-home senior care?
There is. So there are a few different routes. One is the VA. So if your loved one served in the military, they're potentially eligible for VA benefits, and we've helped a lot of families be able to walk through that type of that type of uh, aging adult. There's also long-term care insurance. So these are becoming less and less common for us to be able to get access to. But long-term care insurance is a lot like any other insurance where you've been paying premiums in for a long time that covers health type of care, not not considered medical, but maybe it involves home care, maybe it involves nursing care, maybe it involves moving into an assisted living type of environment. So that's also an option. There's also Arizona long-term care insurance, and within the Arizona long-term care insurance, there's certain financial requirements that you need to be able to meet for you to be eligible for those types. So that would be more along the lines of what we would call Medicaid. So those are different sources, and then obviously the uh, private pay, private pay or family funded care, to where you're able to utilize the funds or the savings, whether it's from savings or if it's different assets that you may have. Uh, an uncommon or a really good source that has a negative connotation to it, or people think about it negatively, but it can be really positive, is just a reverse mortgage. So being able to tap into the equity of a home that somebody has had for a number of years. Most of the seniors that we have lived in their home for 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50 years. they have a significant amount of equity that they're holding on to, and it's basically like a home equity line of credit that they would be able to use. And it doesn't have to be forever. It can just be a moment, a period of time that they would tap into that and then be done with it. But at least they're sitting on a major asset right there that they could use to however they wish.
Thank you. And if you ever do need an uh, insurance advisor for the long-term care Bob talked about, or a reverse mortgage specialist, I will email all the participants with a couple contacts for that. Kendra has a question, Bob, in case you
Great.
know. Do you have to have been paying into the long-term care insurance for a period of time before using it?
Yeah, good question. So most times you will have had to pay into it. However, if it's something that you're interested in doing, I would just reach out to a broker that Ashley has worked with, and I might be able to find you a few as well. They could reach out to, but obviously, if you're starting it late, your premiums are going to be higher. If you start it sooner, your premiums are going to be lower. Another great benefit of using your long-term care insurance too that I didn't mention before is when you start to use your benefit, you stop paying premiums. So it's almost like a double bonus. Now you're getting care and you're not paying your premiums, so you're actually saving money by getting the care, which is a nice benefit. But yeah, good question, Kendra.
Thank you. And Kendra, if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Our next question, Bob, is what advice do you give to adult children who want to support their aging parents while also respecting their independence?
Yes, I just know that your first conversation may not generate the type of response that you're looking for. I think the when you can bring it up and you can bring it up in a non-confrontational way and use it in the form of questions versus statements, like you need this mom, you need this dad, but just trying to frame it in a way that gets them to answer the questions about what you're seeing can be really helpful. Um, when it comes to one of the more challenging points in time is when your mom or dad is experiencing some dementia or Alzheimer's, and you may need to force your hand a little bit at that point in time because when you're identifying that they're not able to make rational decisions or exercise good judgment anymore, you can't expect them to make a rational or good judgment at this point in time when they really need it. So in those situations, I do encourage you to, and I know it's uncomfortable, but to force your hand a little bit, and you may have to give them a choice of you either need to get more support here at home, or we need to find another setting for you to where you are able to get the support to where you can maintain as high of a quality of life as possible and also keep yourself safe and others. I come across many families who have a loved one who has dementia and they're still allowing them to drive. And it's extremely scary that they're allowing this to take place. And we have to have some very difficult conversations at that point in time. And we don't necessarily have a problem being the bad guy if needed to ensure safety. But that is a way more common problem than I would have never expected before I got into this line of work. So you may need to force your hand at that point.
Wow. And did you mention that home and said the care providers can help with that, help those conversations
I
or
did
no?
not, but yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, we can.
They're tough
So
conversations.
yes, we want to keep everybody on the road safe, and you know we do have some battles from time to time, but our caregiver is never allowed to be a passenger in the car. They do have to be the driver, and we do run their DMV to ensure that they are a safe driver out there, and that they have insurance, and then we also obviously have our own insurance in case that's ever needed. And fortunately, knock on wood here, we haven't had any issues.
Great. What, um, I guess, triggers should children caring for their aging parents kind of put in place that would then say, okay, after this happens, then either in-home senior care is needed or some type of additional support is needed?
Yeah, triggers. There's a number of different triggers that I might look like. My wife and I joke, we talk about this, but our some jokes that we have are, hey, if our TV setting is above 70, and nobody can hear us talk around, that might be a time. Or if our air conditioner is above 85, that might be a time. But in all seriousness, so if you're starting to experience frequent falls, so when one fall is scary enough, but if you're seeing multiple falls, that is most definitely a trigger to reach out for some extra help. Declining, more clutter in the home could be a sign, a lack of cleanliness that you're experiencing. You may see that your mom or dad they're wearing the same clothes more often, or maybe you're seeing the maintenance not be as good in the home as it was previously because they're not able to do it. Maybe you see their diet isn't the same as it used to be, or they're taking shortcuts with less healthy meals or less nutritious meals. You might see UTIs creeping up more and more frequently with your loved one. You may see some scratches on the vehicle. You may see maybe not going to get the mail very often, not taking their medications, or seeing expired medications around the home. Gosh, skipping doctor's appointments, and that could be anything from medical to vision to dental. So just saying, I don't need to do that. So those are when you start to see that they're not staying as up to date as they used to be, would be a time to interject, or at least have the conversation about what's going on with mom or dad.
Excellent. One other thing you've mentioned to me before, Bob, is that how home instead differs from private care providers is just the guarantee that there'd always be someone there
Yeah.
to care. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that might differ from someone who's a private caregiver?
Yes, you bet. So, yeah, there's big differences. Obviously, the one, and this can be the elephant in the room, so I'll just let it out here. But the private pay caregiver is going to be cheaper than an agency employee. So so that's the pro of the private. And I know there's good ones out there, so I'm not gonna bash that. But with the agency, you're getting somebody that we have trained. We've seen them in training. We've done their background checks. We've gone through all that criteria. We're also providing them the ongoing support to care for that situation. We can get into the home. We can be there to support them in the event that they're sick or they want to take time off. That doesn't mean that the family member needs to take their time off to jump in and help provide care for mom or dad. There's 100 other caregivers that we have on our staff that would be able to go in there and provide the support until the primary caregiver was able to return. Because life happens. Like we have caregivers that they want to take vacations. They might have a sick kid. They might have a car problem. They might just want a day off. So we have a lot of resources in place to ensure that we are able to continue to care for mom and dad without it burdening the family member, and make sure that mom and dad are staying safe with a high quality caregiver that's been vetted and is being managed and is held accountable by our agency.
Excellent. And I have one more question. So if you're tuning in and you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. What barriers do you find there are when people are on the cusp of needing care for themselves or a loved one? And I know you've
Yeah,
already
the
mentioned a few.
yes. So I think pride gets in the way. The A lot of times people will look at this extra support as a signal of loss versus how a positive way of looking at it would be more of an enabler of independence. So having somebody in there that would enable them to do all the things that they've wanted to do, or when I think about how I might feel as I reach that point on just being able to maintain the house, it would start to bother me. Like I become very frustrated with myself that I wouldn't be able to do the things that I would want to do, and instead of having to move to a different location or into a group setting, I'd want to find somebody else that could potentially come in and be able to help me manage some of those tasks, because that would free me up as an aging adult to be able to stay at home. I just need a little extra help here to do the things that I need to do. So I think that's one trigger. Um, Another one that we experience is the emotion is so high. We will talk to a lot of family members that you can just hear and feel the stress that they're experiencing on an everyday basis. And when you try to identify a time in a day to be able to meet to talk through some of these challenges, they can't find one because they're so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. So they're so overwhelmed that they can't even begin to think about any free time that they could potentially have. And if they do have any free time, the last thing they want to do is sit down and talk about this challenge that they're facing all day, every day for a long time. And then another barrier is common, and that's just things aren't bad enough yet. So I'm going to wait until I really need it to begin to get the help that I need. And when I think about that type of barrier, it's really kind of the equivalent of somebody having health issues, and instead of like going to the gym or having a diet, they're going to wait until they have a heart attack to decide to do something about it. And the same thing can be said with home care, where they may have fallen 3 or 4 times, like, no, it's still not bad enough yet. Whereas if they had some additional support, we could prevent those falls, create more confidence for that individual, and give them a better quality of life for the long run. So I'd say those are three big ones that we face or experience on a regular basis.
Okay, I thought of two more questions. Number one, how do you customize care for an individual family? Like
Yeah,
what
great.
parts are customizable?
Yeah, great question. When we, so a lot of times how this works is somebody's identified that my mom or dad needs some extra help, or I need extra help for my mom or dad. So they'll reach out to us. We'll try to understand their situation a little bit more, and then we would meet with them face to face where their mom and dad reside, and understand their situation even further and be able to see things. And at that point in time, we would begin the customization on, okay, like what does this look like for you guys? These are some of the things that we'd be able to do for you. These are the times that we could do it. This is just trying to paint as clear of a picture as we possibly could with that. And then our team, from that point in time, we come back, we talk about it as a team, we enter it into the system, we identify an appropriate caregiver that would be able to provide this level of support. We would prepare them by reviewing what that plan of care looks like, and then we would go to the home with that caregiver and be able to walk through that plan with the family and with the person that's receiving the care, and ensure that we're all on the same page with what we're trying to accomplish here. And it turns into a really special scenario, and a lot of relief for everybody involved, because now mom or dad is getting the care or the support that they need. They don't feel like they're burdening their son or daughter anymore. The son and daughter feel like, oh my gosh, it's like I have another brother or sister here that can help me out. And it becomes a collaborative environment, and we just navigate the journey all together and try to meet everybody with where they're at, and identify where we're going and how we get there.
Great. Thank you for answering that. And last question, what made you get into in-home senior care and home, like personally and then also professionally?
Yeah, there's probably a lot of driving forces behind that, but probably the first thing that sticks out into my mind was when I was in high school, my grandma developed some type of degenerative muscle disease. They were calling it Parkinson's at the time, but it was so progressive that there's no way it's just very unlike Parkinson's. So she ended up moving in with our family, and I really saw the stresses uh, that we experienced as a family, like specifically with my mom, but just seeing how she was a working mom that she worked full time trying to take care of kids as well, and now she was kind of armed with taking care of my grandma. So waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning, a full assist transfer to get her onto the commode. She needed to feed her. My grandma wasn't able to do any of this. So I didn't know it at the time, but as I got older and I came across Homestead, that really resonated well with me. Uh, Not only from the stresses that my mom had, but just how neat, like how beneficial it was to have my grandma living with us at that time, and the interactions that we got to have together. Although they could be challenging because she was talking through a trach, but just that um, how how special it was to be able to keep her at home and do those types of things. So to be able to have an opportunity to be able to do that for so many other families is is really special to us. And it's just really hard to imagine doing anything else in my career or having any type of being associated with any other type of service or business that doesn't involve caring for other people. And it's great because you're not just caring, you're caring for so many people when you're just involved in one case. You're caring for that person that's receiving the care, but then you're also caring for that family member. And then you're also supporting the caregiver. So it's a really fun, rewarding, fulfilling type of environment where everybody wins by getting it.
That's amazing. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We are going to sign off.